तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै। Let us chant from verse number 4 to 8. Dambho darpobhimanascha क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य पार्थसम्पदमासुरीं दैवी सम्पत् निबन्धायासुरीमता मा शुचः सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातोऽसि पाण्डव। द्वौ भूतसर्गौ लोकेऽस्मिन् दैव आसुर एव च दैवो विस्तरशः प्रोक्तः आसुरं पार्थ मे शृणु। प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च जना न विदुरासुराः न शौचं नापि चाचारः न सत्यं तेषु विद्यते। मप्रतिष्ठं ते जगदाहुरनीश्वरम् अपरस्परसम्भूतं किमन्यत् कामहैतुकम्। So after having described the Devi Sampat, the divine virtues, in great detail, Bhagavan now takes up the topic of āsuri Sampat. The purpose of discussion is only one: Devi Sampat Vimokshaya Nibandhaya āsuri mata. The Devi Sampat we have to cultivate because it helps us in gaining liberation. The āsuri Sampat we should eradicate from our personality because it leads to bondage. But what are these āsuri Sampat? Dambha, Darpa, Abhimana, Krodha, Parushya, Ajnana, they all fall under the category of āsuri Sampat. So Bhagavan says this mankind can be divided into two classes: people with Devi Sampat and people with āsuri Sampat. These people with āsuri Sampat, how do they express these evil traits? So Bhagavan says they don't know what to do and what we should not do. Pravritti and nivritti, with regard to that, they are ignorant. There is no refinement in their character. Nacha acharaha. There is dishonesty. So these things can be very clearly seen in their behavior, in their personality. But then Bhagavan says, Arjuna, one thing you have to understand. The most important thing is their drishti. Because everything in life depends on this drishti, the vision. A person lives his life based on the vision he carries about everything. So first of all, we must understand this vision of A person with āsuri sampat. What is his understanding about life? What is his philosophy about life? What is it that he has understood? So this vision has to be first understood, because it is this vision which forces him to behave like an asura. So what is this vision? So yesterday we had in detail seen that, verse number 8. So what is their understanding? This jagat is asatyam. Jagat is asatyam means what? The very foundation of this jagat is asat. Meaning, in this world we see people succeed who take recourse to asatyam, dishonesty. People who are corrupt, people who don't follow any values of life, those who compromise with the higher values of life, they succeed in this world. This is the meaning, asatyam. People who follow satyam, they never come up in life. This conclusion he has come based on his partial, superficial observation of his experience, of day-to-day happening. So this is his understanding. Jagat is asatyam. And then jagat is apratishtham. Apratishtham means what? There is no solid moral, ethical laws, ethical principles which govern this world. No such things are seen. There are no such laws like karma theory. As you sow, so shall you reap. There is no such thing. Because that is not what we see in life. So this is what you call apratishtham. And as far as God is concerned, jagat anishwaram. There is nothing called God. You say he is a karma phaladata, he is a giver of the results of action. No. God doesn't exist. God doesn't exist because if there is such thing as God, very clearly he would be experienced by our senses. So as far as this person is concerned, he gives importance only to the knowledge gained by the senses. For him, senses are everything. So therefore, since God doesn't come under the ambit of sensual experience, so therefore according to him there is nothing called God. And therefore there is nothing called dharma, adharma. There is nothing called punya, papa. There is nothing called paraloka. There is nothing called punarjanma. All these things he doesn't believe, because according to his senses they don't exist. They cannot be known through the senses. This is his philosophy. So with this drishti, how does he live his life? That is what is mentioned in the next verse. Verse number 9. Let us chant that verse. Etam drishtimavashtabhya nashtatmanulpabuddhayah prabhavantyugrakarmanah kshayaya jagato hitaha etam drishtimavashtabhya nashtatmanulpabuddhayah prabhavantyugrakarmanah kshayaya jagato hitaha. Etam drishtim avashtabhya. Taking refuge in this drishti, in this materialistic drishti. This is called as the vision of materialistic people. Who is a materialistic people? Those who think that matter alone is everything. They are called as materialistic people. There is nothing called spirit. There is nothing called spirituality. There is nothing called self. Such people are called materialistic people. Or, yesterday as we have seen, they are called as charvakas. So this is the vision. So what does Bhagavan say about these people? Nashtatmanaha alpabuddhaya. People with little intelligence. Nashtatmanaha, those people who have lost their souls. Prabhavanti ugrakarmanaha kshayaya jagataha ahitaha. Those people who are inimical to this world, they perform all actions to destroy this world. So Bhagavan calls them alpabuddhaya. Alpabuddhaya means what? People will alpabuddhi, little intelligence. Why they have little intelligence? Their philosophy is, if I see, then I will believe. If I experience with my sense organs, then only I will believe. This is their philosophy. Now the truth of this world is, what you experience through your sense organs is, what do you call, just a speck of what is available in this universe. What you experience is absolutely nothing compared to what exists in this world. The knowledge which we gain from our senses is very, 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 very little. So naturally, if you say, whatever I see, that only I will believe, it just means you are like a frog in the well, which says, I see only this well, so therefore the whole world is nothing but this well. Isn't it? Our senses are so incapable as far as this infinite cosmos is concerned. Even with our senses itself, if you see, are you able to see the small microorganisms in your own hands? Eye has a limit to see, isn't it? Each and every organ. You are not able to listen to a particular sound frequency beyond a range. Does it mean that such a sound frequency doesn't exist? Just because I don't see these microorganisms, does it mean that they don't exist? There are so many things in this world which your senses can never perceive. Does it mean they don't exist? In fact, there are so many things which you see, but actually they don't exist. Blueness of the sky. Just because your eyes are showing that the sky is blue, does it mean the sky is blue? How can you trust your sense organs in this way? Just because you see that earth is flat, does it mean earth is flat? How many such examples can be given? Just because you see that the sun is so small, is it really small? And you trust this sense organ? There are so many things which exist which the sense organs cannot show you. There are so many things which don't exist and the sense organs are showing you. And if you say, I will believe only what I see and what I hear, how foolishness. Number one. Number two, you believe in logic, you believe in your intellect, isn't it? How can such a tiny, puny intellect of yours understand the mystery of this infinite creation? How can you expect this tiny speck of your intellect to understand this infinite creation? This is called as intellectual arrogance. A feeling that I can understand everything. This intellect can understand everything. It is called as intellectual arrogance. Our intellect is so small and incapable to understand these mysteries of the world. And that is why you will always find really great scientists who, with an open mind, who have explored this universe, have always finally surrendered. Everyone, all great scientists, they have surrendered because they have understood the limitation of the very means of knowledge, which is intellect, which is the sense organs. Pramāna itself is limited. Then how can the prama be perfect? Pramāna means the means of knowledge. When your means of knowledge itself is limited, how can the knowledge be perfect? Your eyes cannot see the microorganisms. How can you say that whatever I show alone is right? Here, what limits the knowledge? The means of knowledge. The eyes limit the knowledge. What is the knowledge? The presence of microorganism. The very instrument of knowing is limited, is finite, is incapable. Then how can you say that you can get perfect knowledge through imperfect instruments of knowing? Bhagavan, out of infinite kindness, very well knowing the limitations of the senses, very well knowing the limitations of our intellect, what did He do? He gave the Vedas to us, the book of knowledge. Because He knew that with senses these things cannot be known, so therefore He gave us the Vedas. Atīndrīya vishaye vedāhā pramānam. With regard to all subjects which are Atīndrīya vishaya. Atīndrīya means beyond the senses, which cannot be known through our senses. What should be the pramānam? What should be the means of knowledge? Vedas should be the means of knowledge. For example, after death, is there life or not? We cannot know because the senses are not available. We can never know these things through our intellect. We can never know these things through inference. Pratyaksha pramana is not capable of giving us the right answer to these questions. Whether the soul exists or not, whether there is life after death, these things can never be known through the senses. So therefore, we have to rely on the treasure house of knowledge, which is Vedas or Shruti. Whether punya papa exists or not, whether heaven, hell exists or not, we can never know. You don't have the means to know. Then how can you say yes or no? It is exactly like a blind person. Can he ever know the color of a thing? He can never know. Why? Because there is no means. To know anything, you must have the right means. You must have the right instrument of knowledge. If you want to know sound, the right instrument of knowledge is ears. You cannot use anything else to know that. If you want to know color, the right instrument is eyes. You have no other choice but to use your eyes to know the color, isn't it? In the same way, to know whether Brahman exists or not, God exists or not, we don't have the means. So then what is the means? The only means is the Shabda Pramānam, which we call as Vedas, which we call as Shruti, Shruti Pramānam. That is the only means. All those things which we cannot know through our senses, the only way to know is the Vedas. But these people, what are these people? They are the people alpa buddhayaha, because they don't trust in Vedas, they don't have faith in the Vedas. They don't have faith in the Vedas, they don't have faith in scriptures, they don't have faith in the realized masters. So therefore, alpa buddhayaha. Because when you don't have faith in the very means of knowledge, who is the loser? We are the losers. That is why Bhagavan says, nashtatmanaha. Gone case. With this little instrument of intellect, he is trying to measure the whole world, trying to know the whole world. It is just like trying to measure ocean with a spoon. Alpa buddhaya, men of little intelligence. And therefore, nashtatmanaha, they have lost their self. Meaning what? Such a wonderful opportunity have been given. They have been given a rare human birth. What is the possibility of this human birth? A person can become one with the infinite Lord. Such a great possibility exists with this human life. Just because they don't have faith in such a great possibility, just because they don't have faith in the very means of knowledge, therefore, what will happen? Samshayatma vinashyati. Isn't it? Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one who has faith, he will gain the knowledge. Ones who don't have faith, he will be a great loser. That self which is infinite, immortal, blissful, that infinite self is right there as my own true nature. But then I am not able to experience that infinite reality, which is me myself, just because I don't have the faith in the very source of knowledge. So therefore, nashtatmana. Not only that I don't reach there, negatively I make use of this human life to do everything perverted, negative, selfish, to destroy the world. So positively you are not constructing anything. What are you doing with your abilities? You are only destroying things. So therefore, nashtatmanaha. He is falling from the very level he is in. Not only that, he is not going up. At least he is remaining there, that is fine. He is not remaining there, so he is going down further. He is making use of all his sophisticated abilities in all negative things. So what happens to such people? Bhagavan says, ahitaha, jagataha ahitaha. Now we have to see this. So with this vision, what is the vision now he is having? I am this body. This body is everything. So what is the ultimate goal of life? Kama. Indulgence in pleasure is the ultimate goal of life, because that alone gives happiness. What is the means for this? Artha is the means. Earn lot of wealth, indulge in all pleasures. Artha is the means, Kama is the goal, and what is moksha? Death of the body is moksha. This is his philosophy. With this philosophy now he is living. So what is his definition about himself now? He is perfectly clear, I am this body. So now, what is the vision he is having? His vision is called the vision of plurality. It is not the vision of oneness. What is his vision? Vision of plurality. Vision of plurality means what? Since his entire attention is upon his body, since he defines himself as his body, so naturally when he looks into the world, what does he see? He sees so many bodies. So what is his vision? His vision is a vision of division. We are all different. Why? The bodies are different, therefore we are different. What is the vision of a Mahatma? Bodies may be different, but the consciousness is the same. So his vision is not the vision of division, his vision is the vision of oneness. We are all one. And out of this oneness there is love, there is sharing, there is caring, there is cooperation, there is service. That is a totally different aspect. Now, the moment you have this vision of division, just the opposite starts happening. We are all different. We are all unconnected. There is no relation between each and every one of us, because at the body level we are all different. We are all separate. And what is happiness? Fulfilling the needs of this body is happiness. I need not care about others. What is happiness? Hunger is here, thirst is here, pleasure is here. So let me fulfill the needs and the greeds of this body. Let me fulfill the desires of this body. That is happiness. Why should I bother about others? Let others go to hell. So that is the meaning. Jagataha ahitaha. Hita means welfare and well-being. Ahita means what? The opposite of it. Let me be bothered about only the welfare and well-being of myself. Why should I bother about the welfare and well-being of others? It has nothing to do with my happiness. So this vision of division gives birth to selfishness, self-centeredness. The person becomes self-centered, totally selfish. So naturally now, what kind of actions will come out of him? Not the action of service, not the action of giving. Because why do you want to give? Why do you want to serve? In service, always you give something, isn't it? When you share, you give. Now according to his philosophy, whenever you give, you lose. Then why should I give? Whenever you give or share, what are you doing? Whatever resources you are having, you are giving it off. Meaning, those resources are not available for you. So then, according to him, what is it? It is wrong. Giving is not happiness, only taking is happiness. Now, what kind of actions will come out of him? Bhagavan says, Ugra karmanaha. These people are termed as Ugra karmanaha. People with cruel actions. Terrible actions. How will they live with this philosophy? They are very clear about this philosophy. Happiness comes from indulgence. For indulgence, sense objects are necessary. Sense objects are there in this world. Greater the sense objects, greater the indulgence, greater the happiness. So therefore, if you want to be more happy, what you should have? You must have sense objects. Now these sense objects are shared by all those people who are living in this world. So if I want maximum sense objects, what I should ensure? I should ensure that people who share these sense objects should be minimum. So what I should do? I should eliminate my competitors. This is called as Ugra Karmana. So what is seen here? It is not selflessness. What you see here is selfishness. I am bothered only about myself. I don't care about others. In fact, I do care about others. In what way? They should be eliminated. This is my care. Lesser they are, lesser the competition. Lesser the competition, more the sense objects. More the sense objects, more the happiness. More I am secure. So others are in fact making me insecure. So all his action will be cruel actions, selfish actions, ugra karmana. This is the vision of plurality. It just brings poison out of the individual. So what are the type of action you will do? Jagata kshayaya prabhavanti. So what kind of actions come? Cruel action come, and in this process what does he do? He destroys the whole world. Jagata kshayaya. So all his actions are turned towards destruction of the world. His philosophy is, let me be bothered about myself, let me not be bothered about others. His entire attention is upon the vyashti. He doesn't care about the samashti, the totality. He is like a person who is seated on the tree. He is supported by the tree. Now what is he doing? He is cutting the branch upon which he is seated. Without the totality, without the samashti, can vyashti have any existence? The vyashti has no existence without the samashti. Only when the samashti is healthy, only then the vyashti can be healthy, isn't it? Only when the body is healthy, the hands and legs can be healthy. Can hands and legs have separate existence without the body? In the same way, the whole cosmos is a body. Now what is his philosophy? I will not bother about this cosmos, let me only bother about I and my family. Full stop. So what kind of actions? Ugra karmanaha. So he will be cutting indiscriminately all the trees without bothering about the ecological balance. Why does he cut the tree? Because that will give me money. Bas. Let me be bothered only about myself. Let me not care about anything else. That person will be, he will have an industry, and that industry will pump toxic waste into the river. He is not bothered about it. Why? Let me only bother about my profit from my industry. Why should I bother about the river? He will pump toxic smokes, thick smokes into the air. Philosophy is the same. Why should I bother about environmental pollution, etc.? Let me bother about myself. This is the meaning. Jagatakshayaya prabhavanti. Self-centered, narrow vision of life. Look at that concentration camp. If you read that story, oh my God. How much they tortured. Millions were killed. Gas chamber. It is said all those people were collected in a place. They were made into two groups, the healthy ones and the unhealthy ones. Unhealthy one means the old people, the women, the children, etc. Two categories. All these unhealthy ones were all sent to be killed. They were not told. They were told that, there is a shower, after taking shower, etc., then we will take you somewhere, this, that, etc. They were asked to remove all the precious jewelries and this and that. All of them were sent to the room and gas chamber. Bas, finished. 5-10 minutes, some howling, everything is over. After that, they went in, collected all the precious things from those dead bodies. Can you believe? Teeth, hair, dress, this and that, everything. If you read it, you will be stunned. How can human beings be so cruel and heartless? 500 people stuffed in a room where only 50 people can comfortably stay. Absolutely no hygiene. They were made to work from morning till night. They were given only one piece of bread or some soup or something. That's it. Within 1 month, every day people were dying. And who are doing all this? The very same human beings. Remember, not some animals. Human beings are doing this. Can you believe? Such things have happened in human history, and that is what is being said here. I don't care about others. I care only about my needs, my welfare, my well-being. Why is he behaving like this? Remember, it is the fault of the vision he is carrying. He is not rightly educated. Right understanding is not there in life, and therefore they are doing like this. Animals are killed indiscriminately for their skin, for their flesh, for their teeth, for their horns. Why should I bother about this nature? Let me bother about only myself. Now tell me, what is the difference between animals and human beings then? You must have seen this Animal Planet, this and that. In this forest, what happens? Every animal is living for itself. Isn't it? Nobody cares for others. You see all these deers and buffaloes, when they are attacked by a lion, a group of lions, that buffalo is suffering there. The lion has caught that buffalo. And those hundreds of buffaloes, other buffaloes, they run away. In fact, buffalo is much more stronger than this lion. Can't they come together and help this buffalo? No. Why should I bother about that fellow? Let him be eaten. At least I am safe. Let me run away. Why should I risk myself? This is their attitude. Deers also, they have sharp horns. If all of them come together, somebody is suffering. Let us all help. No. All will run away. All these wild goats and this and that. Isn't it? See, animals may behave that way. But even after getting human birth, if you behave this way, then this is what Bhagavan is telling here. This is what the consequence of vision of plurality is. Asuri nature. Etam drishtim avashtabhya nashtatmanah alpabuddhayah prabhavanti ugrakarmanah kshayaya jagatohitaah. Continuing the same line of thought, verse number 10 and 11. Kamamashritya dushpuram dambhamanamadānvitaah mohād grihitva satgrāhan pravartanteshu civrataah kamamashritya dushpuram dambhamanamadānvitaah mohād grihitva sadgrāhan pravartanteshu civrataah cintāmaparimeyaṃ ca pralayantāmupāśritaah kāmopabhogaparamaah etavaditi niṣ්චitaah cintāmaparimeyaṃ ca pralayantāmupāśritaah kāmopabhogaparamaah etavaditi niṣ්චitaah. Yes. So these people, what are the characteristics? The first one, mohat. Everything comes from moha, delusion. Mohat asatgrahan grihitva. Whatever they do, it is because of this. Moha means delusion. Where is this delusion coming from? Ajnana, ignorance. Ignorance brings in moha, delusion. And with delusion, what comes out? Asatgrahan grihitva, holding on to grihitva. Asatgrahan, false values. Holding on to false values of life. Ashuchi vrataha, people as though they have taken a vow of impurity. Men of impure resolve. Dambha manamadanvitaha, endowed with dambha, hypocrisy, mana, pride, mada, arrogance. So this is the kind of people. So all these things, whatever they do out of ignorance. They are totally deluded, holding on to some false values. What is the false value? We have discussed. Jagat is asatyam, apratishtam, anishwaram. These are the false values. With this, now they live. So who is the king in their life? None other than the ego. His majesty, the ego. His, what you call it? His holiness, the ego. Ego is the ruler of their life. Ego has been installed in the heart throne. Now they behave as commanded by the ego. Dambha mana mada anvitaha. Endowed with dambha, hypocrisy, mana, pride, ego, haughtiness, arrogance. They will rule his life now. So yesterday we had seen how does an egoistic person gain happiness in life? When the ego swells, there is happiness. And what are the means in which you can help the ego swell? Award, reward, recognition, praise, possession, position, name, fame. These are the ways in which the ego expands itself. Meaning, as far as the ego is concerned, its happiness lies in the outer world. The greater the possessions from the outer world, greater is the happiness. So naturally this will follow. What? Kamam ashritya dushpuram. Filled with desires. So they take refuge in desires. Because according to them, what is the definition of happiness? Fulfillment of desires is happiness. What is the definition of a person with Devi sampat? Absence of desires is happiness. There's a huge difference now. The person with Devi sampat says absence of desire is happiness. The person with āsuri sampat says fulfillment of desire is happiness. Now Puja Gurudev has given a beautiful definition of happiness. H, happiness equal to number of desires fulfilled divided by total number of desires. Number of desires fulfilled divided by total number of desires. That is equal to H, happiness. So if you want to become more happy, what you should do? H has to increase. In order to increase H, what are the ways? Either you can increase the numerator, total number of fulfilled desires. If you increase it, H will increase. Or you can decrease the denominator. The Daivi Sampat person tries to decrease the denominator. The Asuri Sampat person tries to increase the numerator. Now which is more efficient? How much ever numerator you increase, at the most it will be H equal to 1. All your desires are fulfilled. But suppose you start decreasing the denominator, then what is the limit? Infinite is the limit, isn't it? Daivi Sampat person goes in the right track because he is guided by the scriptures. Asuri Sampat person goes totally in the wrong track. So what is said here? Kamam ashritya dushpuram. What is the problem with this kama, desires? How much ever you fulfill the desires, it will never be satiated. This is the problem with kama. Dushpurena analena cha, like fire. How much ever you put things in the fire, will the fire say enough? No. This is the problem with kama. Any worldly desire, you will never say enough. It will again ask for more. Now what is the condition of this egoistic person? He has not one desire. He has innumerable desires. Now just imagine his condition. Innumerable desires, each one cannot be satiated. That is said, dushpuram, insatiable desires. This is his condition. But what is his philosophy? kamopabhoga paramaha. His philosophy is fulfillment of desire is happiness. In fact, fulfillment itself is happiness. So more the desire, the merrier. Kamopabhoga paramaha. Parama means this is the highest. What is highest? Kama upabhoga. Fulfillment of desires. Indulgence in pleasure. This is the highest. The more the desires, the more you will get an opportunity to fulfill it. And the more the fulfillment, the greater the joy. A devotee is matparamaha. Bhagavan says he considers me as the highest. Matparamaha. What about this āsuri person? Kamopabhoga paramaha. See the difference. Kamopabhoga paramaha etavad iti nishchitaha is very clear. Only this much. This is life. Full stop. What is life? Fulfillment of desire is life. Full stop. Life is worth nothing else. This is all what life can give you. Fulfillment of your desires. So therefore, entire life is geared towards only one. If there is a desire, fulfill it. Fulfill it in the best possible way. Fulfill it in such a way that dambha, mana, mada swells. Right? Now we have to see how these things guide our life. So now let us discuss the condition of this egoistic person. This is what we see in the society. In modern society, we see this. What is seen? Poor man, he is not guided by the scriptures, and therefore, how the modern man suffers in life. We see it in almost every house. Dambha, mana, mada, anvitaha. Here we have to start. There is a lot of ego. He doesn't know how to handle the ego. He experienced that whenever the ego is pampered, there is happiness. So therefore, the purpose of life is to pamper the ego. Now, how can you pamper the ego? Well, everyone wants a house. So what is the best way in which the ego can be pampered? Get the best house. Best house means what? In a posh locality where rich people stay, where famous people stay, full of glitz and glamour. The people who matters, where they stay, I should also stay. Why? You see, you are defined by these things. You know, the beauty of this mana, you know where this mana term comes from? Ma means to measure. This egoistic person is constantly measuring everyone, including himself. Egoistic person is measuring. Ma means to measure. Miyate. Measuring in terms of what? Egoistic person measures in terms of your job, in terms of your salary, in terms of your house, this, that, etc. This is the way he rates a person. So naturally he will use the same measuring rod for himself also. So how will he measure himself? Through these things. So how to increase your self-worth in the society? Are you able to understand? How to increase your self-worth? How to be an important person in the eyes of others? So many factors are there. The first one is where you live. What is your house? So naturally he will select such a posh area, paying lot of money, Because people will ask, where do you stay? I stay in such and such villa. Oh, you stay there. Bas. That helps his ego to get a boost. He enjoys that. So everything, that is the meaning, kama mastritya dushpura. Every aspect is taken care to ensure that the ego gets a boost. Rich locality, posh locality, where very famous people stay, rich people stay. Now this fellow doesn't have much money, even then he will go there. See, if you have money and you are going there, that's a different matter. With great difficulty, he will go there, he will purchase a plot there. Only husband, wife and one child, but still he will get a 5 BHK flat. Why do you need 5 BHK? No, it is needed. Because when somebody comes to see the house, they should, such a big house. Then he gets a great joy. Big house is taken. All these bathroom, kitchen and all local things will not work. Imported things. What do you call it? Kitchenware, bathroomware. You see such advertisements. Italian and Mexican and American and I don't know what all things are there. What you are supposed to do inside is the same thing. But the ego must get that kick. He gets everything. Interior designing at the international standards. Right. This is with respect to house. Now, a very important thing is the vehicle in which you travel. That's very important. Because the one thing which really falls into the eyes of even the strangers, even the pedestrians, is the vehicle. So therefore, ordinary vehicle will not do. You need some big, huge one, some, what do you call that? BMW or Mercedes-Benz, I don't know, so many such brands are there. Imported vehicle. People with exaggerated pride, they connect some noisy engine also. So even if you are not looking, you should look. Such specimens, you find them on the roads. Car, highly imported car. Your relatives and neighbors should burn with jealousy. Then you enjoy. That Onida one advertisement, what is that? Exactly. Neighbors envy, honors, pride. That is the one. The Onida people, they have placed the finger where it... Understand? Others will make use of your weakness. This is what you have to understand. And your weakness is your ego. They will milk your weakness, as they say. All the companies, they are waiting for that. What is the weakness of a human being? Hold there and make profit. So here you will travel in such wonderful cars. So car means what? It shows that you are a prosperous person, rich person. And as I told you, once money is there, everything else will follow. People then start giving you respect also. The moment you get down from a very, luxurious car, others will automatically bow down to you. Car should be of that nature. I am sorry, I have to speak all this because we are dealing with āsuri sampat. Though I have no intention to talk all this, but I am really helpless. What I see in the society, I have to tell. Then, fine, he has a house. Again, he has to, attend so many family functions. Now, family function also should be ego boosters. What are the ways? Ensure that your wife has got a diamond and, platinum. Gold and all, old fashioned. You should be at least that diamond and platinum level. Then others are watching. So if your wife has got all those jewelries, it simply means that you are really successful in life. Silently you have passed the message. Isn't it? Your dress. Of course your job. So there are certain questions which always people ask. What do you do? Then you must have a multinational company. I work in such and such. Oh, you work there. Yes. Where do you stay? I stay in such and such. Oh, you stay there. Yes. Where do your son study? My son studies in that prestigious international school. Oh, your son studies there. These are all some of the questions which everyone will ask, especially in a social gathering. He is waiting for these questions to be asked. Because every time this question is asked, his face lights up. There's a glow. What is this glow? This glow is of the ego. So therefore, he knows that these questions these people will ask, the neighbors, the relatives. So he is prepared for this question. So he has no choice, even though he can't afford that kind of flat or that kind of car, but he has to have it because his prestige is at stake. Right? So this is the way. Dambha mana mada anvita. His joy is in this pride. Everything, whatever he can show off, he will do it. This is his lifestyle. Now, does he have any importance for prayer, puja, dhyana, etc.? Not at all. Absolutely no. But suppose by mistake if you find somebody praying, understand it is not for peace of mind. It is only begging. Bhagwan, give me more. What you have given me is less. So naturally, what will be his lifestyle? Earn, spend. So 5 days he will work like, what you call, work like? And then 2 days, bas. Saturday and Sundays he'll be found everywhere in clubs and pubs and party and dance and this and that. What time he comes back? Brahma Muhurta he comes back. 3 o'clock, 3:34. I don't know why. After Brahma Muhurta I think you can't enjoy all this. This time is very strange time. At the most you can enjoy 3, not beyond that. So when the sattvic person wakes up, this fellow goes to sleep. That is his condition. And when does he get up? Brunch time he gets up. This term was never there earlier. This brunch thing. Breakfast was there, lunch was there. Now this modern generation has coined a new term. What is it? Brunch. Why this new term has been coined? Breakfast time they are not up from the bed. So the question of having breakfast doesn't even arise. Lunch is too late. So therefore somewhere in between he gets up. And that is at say 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever in the afternoon. And what is the first thing he does? How does he begin his day? A cup of coffee and newspaper. When he reads all these reports of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, that is what newspaper is. All the negative news, he is charged up. That is the charging point. Just like you charge your mobile. When you read the negativities of others, somewhere you feel that you are the only positive person. That is the charging. It is the same thing as Paishunam. People who have so many negativities, you read, oh, there is such a murder there, crime there. I am a far better person. You feel nice. So newspaper is very important. That's how his day begins. So this is his lifestyle. Now what does Bhagavan say about these people? What is the state of mind of such people? Bhagavan says, Chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upasritaha. What is the state of mind? Externally they are showing that they are very powerful, they are happy and successful, etc. But actually what is going on in their mind? Bhagavan says, innumerable worries and anxieties and fears and tension and stress. This one word defines everything. Chinta, full stop. There's that famous saying, what is the difference between Chita and Chinta? Chita means funeral pyre. Chita burns only a dead body, Chinta burns a living body. Chita burns only once, Chinta burns every moment of this living person. Nice saying. So this Chinta means stress, strain, worry, fear, anxiety, etc. Why so? Now look at this person. He has got all these luxuries and comforts, so naturally he has to pay for it. Now how is he paying? Normally he is paying it in installments, because he doesn't have that much money. He can't afford it. So now bank has come with a beautiful scheme, very tempting scheme. What is it? You can pay, you can enjoy at the same time, pay it in installment. This is what you call as a great temptation. As far as this person is concerned, what is his ultimate goal of life? Kamopa bhoga paramaha, isn't it? So indulgence is the goal. Now the problem with indulgence is, when you are young, you can indulge better. When you are old, you are unfit for indulgence. And the most unfortunate thing is, when you are young, you don't have money, but power of indulgence is there. When you are old, you have money, but there is no ability to indulge. It's a very, very tragic situation. So the bank has come up with a wonderful scheme. What is it? Even when you are young, start indulging. How? Get things for installments. Bas. Don't waste your youth. Youth should not be wasted. Means what? Indulge. Kamopabhoga paramaha. Once gone, it is gone forever. So therefore, when you are young, make the best use of it. Make hay while sun shines. How do you make hay? What all possible indulgence is available, indulge. So therefore, the bank comes to support you. Seeing your job, seeing your salary, so they are confident that this fellow can pay. Throughout his life, if he keeps on paying, then finally he will. He gets everything in installment. Big TV, huge fridge. Fridge is almost like a huge room now. Some of the fridge I see, my God. Entire family can be put inside and closed. Such huge fridge. I don't know what they store in it. Huge fridge, huge TV, and so many other things also. Washing machine and this and that. Everything in installment. That flat also, installment. Now naturally he has to, every month he has to shed out money. Now what is this chinta? The chinta is, job itself is uncertain. What is the guarantee that I will be able to pay this? Chinta regarding job, chinta regarding installment. Many other things are also there, we will come to it. Just imagine every moment at the back side of the mind you have this fear. No job is permanent. Everywhere there is uncertainty. There is so much of fluctuation. So naturally the chinta will be there. And what is happening in the office? Remember, this is an egoistic person. Egoistic person means what? Little insult and he will feel maximum pain. The pain you experience in insult is directly proportional to your ego level. It's a law. If you are a humble person, simple person, a Daivi Sampat person, even when others insult you, you will feel nothing. To what extent the external praise and insult affect you, it directly depends on the ego level in you. Now this person, he has joined a company where the pay scale is very high. Very high pay scale means what? The company will squeeze out your blood to get the work from you. Yes or no? Simply they will not give you something. If the company is giving you high pay scale, be ready for it. They are going to squeeze out everything from you. Literally your life you have to sacrifice for that company. You will have no personal life then. So this person, morning till night, he is, struggling there. And in the process he gets shouting from this boss, because the targets have to be met, you see. Every time there is pressure. This is chinta. Targets are set. Within this period you must reach the target. Now the boss is exerting pressure on him. Naturally he will have to exert pressure on his subordinates. In the process the boss will shout at him. He will have to shout at his subordinates. What is the state of mind now? Only chinta will be there. Such a person. Now this is the situation in the office. Finally, totally exhausted, tired, he comes home. What is the situation at home? Normally he comes late, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And normally he carries the work of the office at home also, because the targets have to be met. Even after coming back from office, he is in front of his laptop. He has no time to eat. Eating and laptop, everything goes together. Because he has no time. Target, you see. See how that person makes his life mess. The child is there, his own son. He is craving for father's love, but he has no time even to look at him. Poor child, he has everything best in life. International school, international education, international toys, everything. But love of parents, 0. Quality time spent with parents, 0. Look at his condition. He is craving. So many things have happened in the school. He wants to share, that little child. He comes with bubbling enthusiasm to share things. The father has no time. What is the condition of mother? Now because you have so many installments to pay, you cannot have the wife sitting at home. Wife also should go for work. She also comes in the late night with her own bundles of stress, worry, tension, anxiety, etc. Now what is the condition of house now? Husband ready to explode volcano because of all the worries and tension. Because see, your irritability level is at the maximum when you are having all these kinds of negative emotions. So husband is here, ready to explode volcano. What about wife? Another volcano, because she has her own problems of her office. What about the child? Child is also under stress. You will not believe. If you are in the international school, they have to have international standards. They have to have international standard results. So the pressure is there from the management on the teachers. And where will the teachers exert pressure? On these little children to perform better. International schools will have international pressure. Government school, they are the blessed ones, I'll tell you. Children in government school, they are allowed to grow at their own pace. In touch with nature they are. Not in AC halls and this and that. No. They are in touch with nature. They see the sunrise. They play with the birds and the butterflies and this and that. Everything is there. But international school means AC hall. Everything is International. Now this child is also coming from there. What is the condition of this child now? Pressure from the teachers. Now poor this child doesn't know what is happening. This child wants to unload the pressure onto somebody. Normally it is the mother. Unfortunately, mother is not available. Maybe some time she will spend. Good food he gets, no doubt. But what about that misery of the mind? Where will the child unload? The funniest part is husband also want to unload, but nobody is there. Wife also want to unload, nobody is there. Child also want to unload. Nobody is there to absorb the stress, the negativity. In the Vedic times it was not like that. Husband used to go for work, wife used to be in home. So when husband comes with that, what you call, tension, worry, this and that, etc., there was somebody who was there to absorb all the negativities, absorb the stress. If there is somebody who is giving shock, there has to be a shock absorber. So then husband and wife, they complement each other. This is a Vedic lifestyle. So this lady, she comforts him, soothes him, entertains him, gives him some snack and this and that, and listens to him. Very many times you have to just be a listener. You have so much of say. You talk, and afterwards you feel relieved. But if you want to talk, there should be somebody to listen, isn't it? There has to be somebody to listen. So this lady would listen to the child also, and the child is also happy. This lady would listen to the husband also, the husband is also happy, and the tension is diffused. Now what is the condition? Everyone is a ticking atom bomb. Husband has his own worries, stress, tension. Wife has her own worries, stress, tension. Both are having hi-fi jobs. Nobody is there to take care of the poor child. Though he is getting the best, he is treated as the worst. Now what happens in such a house? Will there be love? Will there be peace? Will there be harmony? Little something, explosion, quarrel, fight. Nowadays you find that the divorce rates are increasing. Have you observed? It has become a common thing in every house. Somebody or else will be there, divorced. Some 50 years back this was not the condition in India. Why divorce rates are increasing? It is because of this. The wife says, why should I bow down to husband? I am also earning. In fact, I am earning much more than him. Finished. In the olden times, at least the ladies used to bow down. Husband shouts because normally they are egoistic. They shout for some time and then he cools down. She rather cools him down because of her surrender, silence, timidity, softness, tenderness. The husband cools down. Now, oh my God. When husband shouts, the lady screams. What can you do? But finally, 2 or 3 years, they separate. Child is nowhere. This is the condition happening in the modern times. The lady is also full of dambha mana mada. I am also not less. I am not a doormat. Finished. I am not a doormat. Two egoistic person can never go together. Why? Nobody will bow down. They will only fight. An egoistic person always argues and tries to win the argument. When two people are there who always argues and try to win the argument, what will happen there? The family is finished. So whatever he said is 100% chinta, full of worry, full of tension, full of anxiety. And this egoistic person, another problem is there with him. He expects too much from others. His son is the international school. Now he wants his son to be first in everything. First in studies, first in drawing, first in karate, first in I don't know what all things. In all schools, 7 days are there, 7 days, one thing will be there. After coming back from the school, he will have to go to some session. Music, drawing, dance, I don't know what all things are there now. The child has no time to play at all. And then this father has tremendous amount of expectation. Why? Because performance of the son is connected to my ego. Because normally in the society they will say, your son, how much did he score? Finished. So that also is a part of your prestige. It's a prestige issue. So he expects his son to be first in everything, so that proudly he can declare to the world that his son has scored first. He's first here, there, extraordinary. He's a genius. Isn't it? Too much of expectation. Now very many times you can't have such a wonder kid. What happens? Tension, worry, anxiety, fear. I have already crossed my time. But I don't want to take it up tomorrow also, therefore let me finish it. One more aspect, that's all. Relation with the relatives. What kind of relation he will have with his relatives? You will always find these egoistic people create problem with their brothers and sisters. They will fight for properties. They will fight for assets. They will file court cases. Their own brother, their own sister, little bit, 1 feet here or there, some extra. For that they will file court cases. What about the relation? They are in no talking terms. They can't talk to each other now. Finished. For little problem, he will create such a big issue out of it. This is the condition of an egoistic person. Little more I have to say, that tomorrow I will say. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.